this is Shailendra Dubey and you are watching me on our program Simplifying on Nation Next. In this video, we will talk about some estate planning tips for senior citizen. We will look at what are the best ways in organizing one's wealth as one grows old, what are the laws available for senior citizen, and also what are the best practices across world. So stay with us. As one grows old, it is very important to organize one's wealth. Look at the certain accounts which are not needed to be maintained anymore. You could have opened an account close to your office because you thought it's convenient at that time. It's not needed at this point of time. You may have been working in certain city and there are a few accounts lying there. Ensure that they are closed because otherwise there could be charges and you may get a surprise in terms of the charges which you have to pay. Consider consolidating investment done through various wealth management firms or certain investment which you have done only out of obligation. Consider closing them. Do consider consolidating all those assets and all those investments which are not needed at this point of time, especially immovable asset. If you are somebody who has got multiple properties you bought over a period of time, it may be good idea to either gift few of them to your legatees or just sell it off. It is always better to stay in liquid. They are easy to manage, they are easy to pass on, and also the chances of dispute and complication related to inheritance are also minimal. Many times senior citizens are worried about the liquidity related aspect. They do have a house or some other assets which are illiquid. So they are looking at how do they create liquidity, how do they have enough funds to take care of themselves, medical and certain other requirement. Well, this is definitely a tricky one because selling a house where you are staying or not passing it on to your children may not be a socially acceptable thing, but the fact is one has to take care of him or herself. So if need be, one can consider a reverse mortgage kind of a solution wherein the house is mortgaged to a bank and bank provides the liquidity for a certain period of time. It may not be a bad idea to consider even to sell sometimes because the reverse mortgage does not give too good a yield and it can become a costly affair, and there are reasons why reverse mortgage is not very popular. So selling the house could be one option, though it's again an emotional one, but considering that there is a need for liquidity, one may seriously evaluate it. Another concern which senior citizen has is how to plan for a situation when someone gets into a coma or he gets into Alzheimer, in a situation where he or she is not able to manage him or herself. Well, this is obviously a sensitive area. There are various options available. One option is to give a power of attorney to a trustworthy person, and certain country has a concept of durable power of attorney where the power of attorney holder is able to take decision on behalf of a comatose person, on behalf of a certain person in terms of medical needs and other requirement. Other option is to create a private trust where the funds are kept in the private trust with a clear instruction to trustees to take care of the medical and financial needs in case of such a situation. The third option is obviously to have a guardian for senior citizen, but unfortunately in our country we still don't have a clear law with related to this. Recently Allahabad High Court passed a judgment where they allowed a lady Uma Mittal to act as a guardian and operate bank account and deal with the financial of a person, of a husband who was in coma for last year and a half. There was another case in Bombay where a lady from 2007-8 onwards was in coma and she was not able to take any decision, so her husband applied for a guardianship. He got the guardianship. They exhausted all the liquid assets, and in somewhere 2015-16 he went and decided to sell the property which was worth around 17-18 crore at that point of time. But unfortunately before he could do that transaction, he himself was diagnosed with cancer and then he passed away. Then his brother and a friend applied for a guardianship and recently in the month of October, the court granted a guardianship to two people who were not related to take care of this lady, and also they instructed saying that these funds are to be used for her purpose. They also gave a guideline that saying below which the property should not be sold. They said that the fund should be kept in a secured place so that enough income is earned to take care of her. Eventually the court has to intervene. The court has given instruction to come out with a law for this. So it's an area which hopefully the government will take note of it and come out with something for the senior citizen. In many cases, senior citizens are dependent on their children for their support system. We have heard stories where children do not take care of them, especially when a property is gifted to them. So first thing is, do not gift your property during your life to your children. Howsoever you may love your son or your daughter, but do not make a mistake of gifting your property, especially if that's the one you are staying in, to your children. In case if such a situation happens where children are not taking care of their parents, be aware that there is an act called Maintenance and Welfare Act of Parents and Senior Citizen Act 2007, which has been amended in 2019, that has a provision where in case of children do not take care of the parents, then one can go and complain to police, and then there are provisions for jail also. There are also provisions for certain maintenance which the children has to give to their parents if they are dependent on them. In case if you are stuck in a situation where you have gifted your property to your children and they are not taking care of you, the Act of Maintenance and Welfare of Parents and Senior Citizen Act also has a provision with certain conditions wherein the gifted property can be recalled also. Obviously there will be court process, but there are judgments which have gone in the favor of parents who have asked for recalling the gift which they have gifted to their children. So be aware about such laws, be aware about such provisions. So along with nominations and joint account holding, do ensure that you write a proper valid will, because a will captures your desire related to your assets. How should they be passed on? What portion should go to whom? Because that will ensure that after you, your assets are dealt in a proper manner and your loved one get your assets in a peaceful and in a seamless manner. Also ensure that the will is first thing written properly through a professional, and there are certain things like who's going to be an executor, who are going to be witnesses, where should my will be kept as a safe custody. Well, there could be various answers to that depending on your situation. You'll have to answer that. Well, as a best practices, it is advisable that the executor, if possible, should be a third person, especially if you are in a situation where the beneficiaries could fight amongst themselves. Then probably either you appoint both of them as a beneficiary and let them deal with it, or you appoint a third person as an executor who will be able to handle the process of passing on wealth to your legatees. Also at the same time, ensure that the witnesses are independent witnesses, are not any of the beneficiaries or related to beneficiaries. If possible, they should be younger to you. They should be coming from two different backgrounds, which means they should not be related to each other. Next, where to keep your will? Maybe a locker, a bank locker is a good idea, or you may keep it with a friend or an executor who you appointed as a third person as an executor, or in a lot of cases the near and dear beneficiary, spouse or children may be kept aware that this is where the will is kept. So finally, have a happy and peaceful retirement life. Take care of your health, enjoy, spend time with your friends, read book, travel, do whatever you like, but ensure that you are aware about the laws, the regulations, and have a good time. Thank you so much for watching this. You're watching me on Nation Next, and keep watching.
Subscribe to Nation Next YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get regular updates from Nation Next. Also like Nation Next Facebook page and follow us on Instagram and Twitter.